What's up? What's up?
Yo.
What's up, you guys?
You sound a whole lot better today, girl.
I'm trying to get this
That was
voice
about
back.
the best one I heard in about 30 days.
My voice didn't crack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Welcome, you guys, to our Fearless podcast. We are so excited. Let's get it. Let's get to it. Y'all ready? I hope y'all ready.
Get it. Y'all, we got Nathan coming on. He's going
Absolutely.
to drop some game. He's going to give us some nuggets. He's going to talk about all the things that he's been through on his journey to being a successful real estate investor.
Absolutely. So let's do it, you guys. Go ahead and share this with everyone you know. Go ahead and like it, and let's get started. How are you guys? What's up, Nathan? How are you today?
That was a sweet intro, everybody. That was sweet. I like that.
Let's go. How's it
It's
going?
like I'm on.
Nathan?
I'm like on a news. I feel like I'm on a news show or something. You know, that was
Ooh,
cool.
they got your heart beating.
Right, I'm a little nervous now. It's official.
Wait a minute. Don't be nervous. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm super excited. Tony, are you ready to go?
I'm ready, but y'all, she messed up too, so
Don't tell my
I'm
business.
trying to fix her mix up.
Don't tell my
Oh,
business.
it's okay. It's technology.
But, let's take not look, so I can't share it.
Okay, well, I can share mine.
To the group.
Yep. Did you change?
Yes.
Okay. Watch me work my magic.
All right. So we are live and in color with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Nathan Payne. Tell us who is Nathan? I hijacked my question.
Man, do you guys do that on everyone, or is that
No,
man?
No.
You hijacked my question. Don't worry
That
about
was beautiful. That was nice. Okay, who am I? Well, I'm just a guy, you know. I'm just nothing crazy about me. I guess I'll let people know a little bit about how I got started in real estate. If that's because that's why we're
All
kind of
right,
here.
let's do it.
So I didn't really know I wanted to get into real estate. I didn't really know anything about real estate until after I graduated from college. I did door-to-door sales for about 6 years throughout college. I did a mission for my church for 2 years before college. So I got kind of like into the sales background of like, you know, talking to people, like getting rejected a lot on my mission because people just didn't want to talk to me about the gospel, about Jesus. And then I went to college and people didn't want to talk to me about Dish Network and DirecTV. And when I was knocking on their doors, so I was like, that's just how it was. You know, people don't like to get bothered. So that's how I got started. And then my job in my job in door to door was very transient. Every summer or every fall, we'd go to a new market and we would go knock in an area. Like I went to Dallas, Terre Haute, Indiana. I went to Lubbock, Texas, just random places. And after I got married after college, I was like, man, I don't feel like I want to knock doors for the rest of my life. I was making good money, had teams, but I was like, what can I do where I can make good money and still use my ability to just talk with people and sales skills? And I remember my buddy in college did wholesaling. He did lease options, and his dad was a wholesaler in Missouri. So I called him and I said, hey man, are you doing real estate right now? He's like, no, I'm working at a tech company, but I want to get into real estate. I said, hey, look, I'm leaving door to door. Let's start a real estate company. I don't know anything about it, but let's do it. And he's like, okay.
Wait a minute.
So
Hold
that's how I
on,
got
hold on.
started.
Hold up. You knew nothing about it, and you just
No.
decided I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, guys, that's just kind of like how I am. Like, you guys want to know who Nathan Payne is as a person? I just go for it. And most people, like, they'll study and they'll learn and they'll, like, analysis paralysis. I'm the opposite. I'm like, let's freaking go. Let's get smashed and just let's fail. And then we'll figure it out as we go. That's my personality. And maybe that's not good. Maybe it's good some because I don't wait, but it's also not good because I probably waste a lot of money.
Listen, it's gonna be one or the other. Nathan, I am so you. I go, and it takes Antonio a whole year to buy a TV. Like,
Yeah.
I've already bought 365 TVs in his time. Like,
that's me. I can't take it. I can't wait. Like, the thing is, like, you could sit there and you could study it all out. You got to just go for it. That's my opinion. And my philosophy, it gets you in a lot of trouble, I feel like, but you learn quick, but you also get smashed a lot.
And to my defense,
okay, come on, defend yourself.
I'm not gonna just say I don't mind making decisions. There's a level of information I gotta have to make a decision. Now, once I get to that level, I'm make a decision.
Then he's go.
And I'm gonna go like next 3-4 steps. But I ain't just gonna automatically go by the first one I see. I gotta do a little research, but I'm gonna take action.
I get it.
So
that's good too. That's good.
I've already done it. I've already lived it through. It's over with. Like,
so I want to dig into Nathan before college, Nathan before the mission, Nathan before door-to-door sales.
Nathan as a boy, maybe?
Nathan growing up. Did you grow up a 2-parent household with parents, entrepreneurs? Kind of give us a little background on that.
Oh, great. Yeah, we're going way back. We're taking it back. All right. I was a kid. I had ADHD. All right. That's where we'll go back. So I was hard to pay attention. Didn't just went all out. Like, I would when I found something I really liked, I'd hyper focus on it, because that's a part of ADHD is like when you find something you like, you freaking lock in. So I played a lot of StarCraft when I was a kid. I don't know if you guys ever heard StarCraft. It's like a little video game, Age of Empires. That's what I locked in on for like a long time. I would just play computer games as a kid. And then I got into wrestling. That was the sport I got into in high school. I did pretty much everything when I was younger. Like, I tried a bunch of sports and I played computer games, and then I got into wrestling and I just dove in. I sucked. And then as I like hyper focused on that, I got better and better and better. So I started freshman year, was terrible. Practice second year, I got third in state in JV, which is like, okay, you got better. All right.
Get better, progress.
And then junior year, I sucked. Well, I didn't suck, but I was in varsity. And then senior year, I placed third in state in the state of Georgia for wrestling. So my thing is, like, you just go and you figure it out and you practice and you work hard and you stay diligent and you get good at anything. That's just been my philosophy. And same thing on my mission. I went on my mission and I went Spanish speaking. Now I'm Hispanic. I'm half Hispanic. I'm white and I'm Spanish. I'm Chilean. I didn't speak Spanish. So when I went to my mission, that was the language I was speaking, is Spanish. So I had to learn Spanish at 19 years old. And again, got smashed, didn't really know how to speak it. People were making fun of me because, like, dude, why do you have a gringo accent? You sound like a white guy, but you're tan. You speak terrible Spanish. So smashed, and then I got better. So that's just like my life has just been: go for it, get crushed, don't give up, you'll get better. And yeah, so it's just like the trajectory of my life.
Was your parents entrepreneurs, or did they have 9-to-5?
Great question. Dad was my dad worked for the Delta Airlines there in Atlanta, Georgia, where I grew up, and not an entrepreneur in that sense, just worked I think like 30-40 years. He just retired a little bit ago. My mom from Chile, she actually was a little bit more entrepreneurial minded. She started a cleaning company called Celestial Cleaning. She started that when I was a kid, and we would go help her clean offices like on the weekends, like take out the trash in the offices and wipe down the doors and the windows. So you could say, yeah, she was entrepreneur in that sense, because she had that. And yeah, so born in a household that had two parents, had three older sisters. I'm the only boy, youngest.
The only boy?
Yeah,
Okay.
only boy. And yeah, and good family, good life. I middle class, wasn't rich, and just felt like I could do anything, but was also scatterbrained, right? Like I always thought that the more you did, the better it was. Like I'm learning now that you got the one thing, the focus. If you're locked in on one thing, that's how you become great. For me, I was always like trying to do a lot, right? Because that's just was my ADHD.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a theme that we've come across when it comes to successful investors. Usually, one of those parents had that entrepreneurial bug,
Yeah.
and it rubs off on them.
And if not their parent, it was a close auntie, uncle. It was someone close to them that they watched and really didn't realize that they were watching, or that they aspired to even be what they are.
Yeah. So when you told your dad that you was going to quit the door-to-door sales and go down this entrepreneur journey, what did he tell you?
Yeah,
what was the advice from mom? What was the advice from dad?
It's interesting talking about parents and whether they're entrepreneurs or someone close to you. My parents just always made me feel like I could do anything I wanted. So it was I could go to them about anything and they would just be like, okay, you can do it if you want. So I think when I told my parents, I told my wife, they were just like, okay, let's go for it, see how it goes. That was pretty much it. They're very spiritual. So they're like, did you pray about it? How do you feel? Do you feel good about it? Okay, go for it. So that was the conversation.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's important. Yes. One of our pillars to success is making sure that you got good people in your corner that's feeding you faith. And a lot of times our circles feed us fear. You can't do this. That can't be done. Nobody in our families ever did that. So it's good to hear that your parents were super supportive. They pointed you in a direction towards your faith, and they encouraged you. They didn't necessarily knock you down. They lifted you up so that you could do it.
Yeah, 100%. You definitely need someone to support you, especially my wife, right? Like she supported me in doing something I've never done because she believed I could figure it out, right? So I married someone that believed in me.
That's right. That's important. So, all right. So mom was forefront. Mom was the entrepreneur. You started off right after college. Why real estate? Like, why did you just say, you know what, we're gonna do this real estate business out of every other thing you could have done? Like, why real estate?
It's actually pretty funny. You guys, okay, I can go deep into the story. So while after I graduated from college and I was like, I don't want to do door to door anymore. I actually was asking around to find out who was making a lot of money and what they were doing. And my dad knew this guy from church that lived in Bakersfield, California, who was an insurance. He did property insurance. I think that's what he would do for property and casualty. I can't remember exactly, but he made a ton of money, right? So when I was doing door-to-door sales, I actually had met him when I was in Bakersfield trying to sell dish, and he sat me down and he told me how he made all his money, right? So after I talked to him months previous to that, and I decided I didn't want to do door to door, I called him. I said, hey, I was thinking about insurance, right? And I was like, what do I got to do in order to get insurance? And he's like, all right, well, first you're going to have to learn the skill sets of doing it. So go and apply for some jobs as an insurance agent at either medical or what I do. So I started applying for jobs, right? And I went to 3, and I knew some people, so I got in on some interviews, and I sat down and got interviewed. I got in a suit, and I was talking to all these people. I had 3 interviews. I talked to this one company, this insurance agent here in Utah that owned his own agency. And I was like, how much, I just wanted to get down to the brass tacks. I was like, how much can I make? That was it. Right. Cause I was making a lot at that time, guys. Door to door, you can make 6 figures in 3 months, because it's just you work really hard and you have teams, you make, it's a good business. So when I sat down with them, I was like, hey, like, what can I make? And they were like 30, 40, 50 if you work really hard. And I was like, I was like, you serious? That's it? And I was like, how much are you making? I wasn't trying to be disrespectful to the guy, but I was
You
like, how much
asked him
do you-"
that, Nathan?
Yeah, I was like, how much do you
In the
make?
interview.
In the interview, yeah, because I wanted to know, like, how do I get to where you're at? He's like, well, that takes like 10, 15, 20 years of working really hard, and then you can make like 100K and 120K, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I don't think this
No
is
way.
for me. I'm not like, I didn't say that to them, right? I'm not disrespectful, but in my mind, I was like, that's not it. That's not gonna work for me. So I was like, forget that. Then I went and interviewed at for medical insurance to sell that. Same thing. You can make like 40, 50, 60, and then eventually you can get up. And it just looked like the trajectory to get to where I want to go is going to be like a long time, And it was,
Mhm.
and I didn't, after like the second, third interview, I was like, I don't even like interviewing. I don't like these people that are asking me questions. I don't think I'm prideful when I was saying this, but I was just like, I don't like telling them like why I think they should hire me. I either you want to hire me or not. That was like
Or you
my
don't. Right.
thought. But they didn't see me like that. They didn't know who I was or what I've done, and they probably didn't see the value because they didn't really know a lot about my sales or the industry I came from. So I was like, forget that. I'm done interviewing. I'm just gonna do my own thing. And that's when I called my buddy and I said, let's just build this business up ourselves. And that's how I got started.
Okay. So
What year is that?
Yeah, okay.
What
Good
year
question.
is that?
2018.
What? This is the big question. All right, one of them anyway. What
Yeah.
type of fears did you have starting a brand new business with no experience? What kind of fears were that?
What fears did I have? Well, when it comes down to, I would say zero, right? But that's not true. I remember when I was a brand new wholesaler, I was scared to lose every deal. I feel like when I had a deal under contract, another buyer was going to snake it. I felt like there was a scarcity, like limited deals. I was scared that the seller would talk to the buyer at the walkthrough. There was a lot of fears I had because I didn't know like what to do. Like I didn't know if I locked up a property, if I could find a buyer and I would have to cancel and the seller would be mad. On my first deal that I did something you're not supposed to do. I took a house under contract and I sent out to every agent in the state of Utah. I just emailed every agent in the state of Utah and they turned me into the board of realtors on my first deal. So I had to go sit down with the board of realtors in the state of Utah and they were like, what are you doing, son? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just trying to wholesale this deal.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the guy in a suit, like at the board of realtors, who probably was like the officer there, he like recorded the conversation. He's like, I'm gonna have to record this just to make sure. Is that okay? And I was like, bro, I don't even know if I'm in trouble or not. I don't know what you're talking, what's going on. So yeah, there's a lot that you could be scared of when you don't know what you're doing. But luckily, I made it out alive.
Oh man, that's crazy on your first deal to go to the highest level like that. That would have spooked most people.
Wait a minute.
That would have scared most people out of the business.
Absolutely. But I know that you felt like, oh, this is going to be slam dunk. I'm going to email it to every realtor. So many people are going to love it. They're going to compete. I'm going to make 15, 20,000 over what I'm expecting. This is going to be a home run.
And then I started getting calls and they're like, hey, can I bring my family through? They want to buy the house. And they didn't understand what a cash offer was. They were just thinking I was just selling a house like the traditional way. So I had to find out, like tell them quickly, hey, this is just cash. Like you probably didn't see the email. Anyway, it was a huge mess.
Did you sell that one though?
I made $5,000.
5,000. Hey, that keeps the marketing going.
Yeah, and it's crazy because that deal right now, we wholesaled it for $185. It's worth $550 now, like 5 years later. So
whoa,
crazy. Talk about appreciation.
Crazy.
Yeah. Talk about appreciation.
Yeah, I wish I would have known. Like, so the home, the property line was actually a lot bigger than what the fence was at. So it actually gave him like almost like an extra like half acre back, which gives a lot, a lot of value. But hey, you're new,
Live
you
you
don't know.
learn. Live you learn. So from a financial standpoint, did you and your wife have a conversation about, hey, how long do you have to do this before you try something different? Did you kind of save for this moment? Did you have some residual income coming in? What was the finances like before you took that leap?
Great question. So me and my wife, we're lucky because we're very, very frugal. We live off of not a lot, right? And we bought a home and we made our basement a mother-in-law apartment. So we actually don't have a mortgage because we rent out our basement, right? So we've done a lot of things to make it so our expenses are extremely low. And so that's good, right? So very frugal. So finance is not really, it's not really that big of a burden because of the way we live and the way we've set ourselves up. But I also had saved up a considerable amount from 6-7 years of doing door to door. So it wasn't really that big of a risk.
Gotcha.
We've saved quite a bit. And so we didn't really say like, hey, you got this much time, because it was more, I felt like that might've been put a limiting belief or like something in the back of my head. So we just never had that discussion. And I got a deal within doing, doing what I was doing for like after 3-4 months. So luckily we were okay. And now is that a discussion we've had over the 5 years? Of course, because things aren't always perfect. They go up and down, guys. I'll be honest with everyone here. Like, I'm always honest, but I'll just say not a lot of people like to disclose this, but I lost a ton of money flipping houses. I was flipping homes during, the pandemic, and interest rates went up to like 8%, and homes values here went down. And I was buying homes like right before the interest rates went up. So I actually had to deed in lieu of property back to a hard money lender. I had to pay them. I think in total, I lost like $200,000, and that sucks. But
hey, we in that same category with you. COVID was here. It was real. Some people made money. Some people lost money.
And there were some phases after COVID where I made a lot of money, but then afterwards, I lost a lot of money after COVID. Like, it's just kind of,
it's the name of the game.
It's what it is.
Yeah, that's the name of the game. Exactly. So we've had discussions about finances. Yeah.
I know that you focus on wholesaling. But most of our audience are new to real estate. They ain't never done a deal. They don't understand real estate. They just know they want to potentially get into real estate. What is wholesaling?
Yeah, what is wholesaling?
Good question. So all wholesaling is, and I'll give an example because I just had this happen yesterday with a brand new buddy, like a brand new friend. I don't want to say brand new friend. He's a friend that had an opportunity. This just happened. So he calls me and he says, "Hey, Nate, I sell roofs. I know you're in real estate. I think you do some like wholesaler cash. I don't know what it is, but I have a seller that wants to sell right now for her house. The house is probably worth, I think, around 1 million, 1.2. She says she'll take 800,000 for it right now. What do I do?" So he has everybody that's new, he has a seller that's motivated. She does not want to list it. She just wants cash and she wants to be out of it quick. He knows that there's an opportunity there because there's a discounted property that needs to sell quickly. How does he make money on it? He calls me and I say, "Hey, okay." So she doesn't want to list it with an agent. She doesn't want to sell the traditional way. She wants to sell it to an investor like me. She wants 800,000 and the house is worth 1.2 or 1 million, whatever. Can we take this property, put it under contract at 800,000 and sell it to someone else, or assign our rights to the contract to buy it for a fee? Can we sign it for more? So I told them, "Hey man, I actually think I know a couple people that might be interested. We might be able to give her 800 and give it to someone for like 820 or 840, 850, depends." So that's what wholesaling is. It's just taking an opportunity where you're going to the seller and you're saying, "I can buy your house for how much do you want? 800,000. Okay. You go through the process to buy it, but you don't actually even ever own it or buy it. You just sign the paperwork and assign your contract, your rights to someone else for a fee, and you get paid out at closing." So, was that a decent explanation?
That was great. Okay. So I'm gonna get this question. You get the next question.
Okay.
Give me the pluses to wholesaling and the minuses to wholesaling.
Good question. Okay, pluses is little risk, right? And everything has like an asterisk, right? Because it depends how you do it. So little risk because you don't ever own the real estate. When I was flipping, there was a lot of risk because you own it, you're paying monthly, you got to get insurance, and it depends what happens to the market 3 or 4 months. With wholesaling, it's like, okay, the house is worth $820. I have it for $820. I can get rid of it within 30 days. That there's no risk because if I don't have a buyer, I can cancel my contract or right. So there's just little risk.
Mm-hmm.
But then depends. The con of wholesaling is to find that many opportunities or enough opportunities to make a business out of it. The con is marketing spend. You have to generate enough opportunities. So
That's right.
if you spend $30,000 or $10,000 a month to get those opportunities and you don't get a deal, that's your risk. You got $10,000, $20,000 that you haven't made. And that's what was in the beginning was tough. And it's always tough, right? You spend money and then you either make it or you don't. So another pro to wholesaling again, you don't have to be a real estate agent. I know a lot of states are trying to regulate that, but you don't need a license in most states. And there are always going to be ways to get around it. You can do like double closing. You could do, you can get it in a trust and assign the trust to the other person or do it through an LLC. You can always get paid directly from your buyer outside of close or through an invoice. There's so many different ways, but you do not have to be a real estate agent in most places. A lot of people, they advocate for that just because the agents and the brokers, they all want their money. And they say they're watching out for the seller, but who knows? I think it's all money driven.
Who knows?
So that's a pro, but then you could also say it's a con because you don't know what you're doing and you could mess with some people's lives. Everything has its pros and cons, right?
If you want to get into wholesaling, would you recommend somebody to go out there and just do it? Or what would you tell that person who's thinking about getting into wholesaling?
They know that wholesaling is going to bring them cash, but they just want to jump out and do it. What would you tell them to do?
This is what I teach. So what I teach is called painless flipping, right? My name's Nathan Payne, and I make it painless for people. So what helped me to succeed in the beginning, eventually, like after I smashed my head and like trying to figure it out, right? Trying to do it the wrong way, the painful way, is I realized that I was selling most of my deals to a certain amount of cash, like the cash buyers that I knew, right? And they would tell me what they would pay, and I could go to them for advice because real estate's really interesting. You can structure deals hundreds of different ways. So what I recommend is go get a local mentor, go get a local cash buyer, or get 5 or 10. You don't have to get 1,000, just get 5 or 10 people that when you run into opportunities that the seller wants to sell fast for cash, you can just reach out to your buyers and see where they would be. What would they pay? And that's what I do. That's what I do now because this is the way I used to do wholesaling. And I think this is not done always the right way by people is they'll just lock up a seller and just say, hey, I can do 800,000. I can close in 30 days and just give me 7 days to check. And then in their 7 days, they'll send buyers through. And then this is normally what happens. All the buyers go through and they're like, 800,000. That's what you're asking. This house is terrible. This thing needs to be at 600,000. And then you're like, oh, okay. I thought I had my numbers right. And then you got to go back to the seller. The seller's you already told them you would buy it for that much. And so I don't like to just like commit unless it's a deal that's just like a guaranteed the best deal ever. And you're like, okay, this is a no brainer. But unfortunately, that's not always how real estate works. So I like to find out what my buyers will pay and then add my fee on top of what they're able to be. So for example, on the 800,000, I call John, say, John, seller wants 800,000. Can you do 820? Yeah, I would like to make a 20K on this. He's like, Nate, this house is worth I pay 750 for this. Okay, so if I get you 750, you're good. He's like, yeah. I call back to the seller that wants 800 and say, hey, look, you know what? Because of this and this and this and this, the house next door, I know you said it's 1.3, but that's brand new. That's a new build. Yours is built in the 1950s. I'm going to need to be at 720. Does that work for you? Then if she says yes, I already have someone at 750. I already made 30 and I'm good instead of having promised her 800 when I'm gonna have to go back. So
I love it, love it, love it, love it.
that's what I recommend people to do, is to actually know what your end buyer is going to pay versus locking stuff up and wasting people's time. Because that's unfortunately that's what like 99% I think of wholesalers do, is they waste everybody's time.
Agree.
Agree.
You gonna answer Chris Terrell?
I'm gonna answer Chris Terrell's, but I think that's literally how my morning went this morning. My first one was a close family friend. They were looking to sell their house, and someone told them they could get 100,000 for it if they just put it on the market. And I pulled the comps, and I'm like, nothing sold at this. The highest something has sold that was renovated was 113. You're not gonna get 113 when it hasn't been renovated since the 1960s. It's not. But you know what? Go ahead and try. And then the next one, I had a close friend, where she said, well, I got this investor that wants to sell. I need you to go look at it. And I said, okay, if I lock this up, she said, I'm gonna let you talk to the investor. No, ma'am, you're gonna get your cut. I need you to structure this deal. She said, I don't know how to do it. Don't worry, you got to get paid for this. You should be getting paid for those connections. Like, those connections are important. They're gonna feed you. They're gonna feed your family. I see we have a question in the chat that says, are you upfront with sellers about the wholesale process?
Yeah. So this is my process. This is how I work with sellers. All right, everybody, this is the pitch. I actually can show people if you guys want to see like how I determine my numbers, but I can share anyway, we don't have to do that. Maybe another time. So this is how it works. Hey, I know you're wanting 800,000, right? I totally get it. If you wanted to get something like that, you're going to get a number that like a price around that area if you list it, because listing it, you're going to get families, friends, you're going to get people that are actually going to live in it. If you want to sell for cash and quick, obviously I can't pay retail. I can't get close to that. Where I would be, and this is not my final offer, right? But this is where I would be around, is I'd have to get it around like, don't get shocked now, about 675,000 to 685 in that range. Okay. Does that sound like something you would be even open to considering? Oh, no way. That's way too high. I mean, that's way too low. Right. So I know at this point, I'm just stopping at this role play. I know I can get this deal done, and it's a for sure deal at that price. If they accept, then let's sign the contract, because I'm buying it or I'm wholesaling it. I feel good about it. Now, we all know most of the time they're going to say no, right? Because the wholesale deal is so low, right? So then I would say, look, I totally get it. My offer is pretty low. Where would you see yourself being around? Maybe they say, ooh, maybe like I wanted 800, but maybe I could go to 750. I'd say, that's still a little too high for cash buyers, but this is what I can do if you're interested. I know a couple cash buyers that are able to pay more than me in my network. I could just run this by them and see what they'd be willing to pay. But all I need to do is I just need to get them, right? I just need to get them to see the property. So I'm going to need some pictures. So that's when I don't have it under contract. I just ask some people I know, and I'm not blasting this out to 1,000 people. I'm just sending this out to my top people. And then I get firm offers, and then I go back and I say, hey, you know what? Like, I know you wanted around 750. I'm getting offers around blah, 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 blah. And then I would just have my fee on top of that when I talk to them. So if I get an offer at 710, I would say, hey, look, the best offer I got, it was like 700. And then I would wholesale it, right, to my buyer for more. That's how I do it. Now,
that's perfect.
That's game right there, Nathan.
That was perfect.
That's game.
That's how I do it. That's the transparency I do, because you're basically saying, hey, I'm going to bring it to some people. That's what wholesaling is, right?
I love it. I love it.
That was wonderful. All right, so we're wholesaling.
Can I say something really quick?
Wholesaling with our partner. Go ahead, Nathan.
Just super quick. Now, if the seller is like, I want 800, no matter what, then it's like, well, it's not even worth my time to bring this by. Right. By my buyers, because they're not realistic. Now, if they're super motivated, but they're like, no, I really need that. Depending on how motivated they are, I might just still run it by some people to see if I can get them closer to what they're asking, because I can usually tell if they're going to sell, this person's selling for cash all day. They just haven't gotten lowballed enough to come to the realization that they're not going to get their asking price. So it really just depends. You don't want to do that for everybody. You just do it for super motivated, or if they're close and you know you can get someone around that price. That's all I had to say.
Okay, great tips.
All right. So let's walk back through the journey. You are doing it with the partner. Is this partner still here today? Are you guys still wholesaling together?
No longer with us. No, just kidding.
Okay.
We're not partners anymore.
So what was your partner's fear versus your fear? Like, were you just too risky?
You know what? My partner had zero fear. I'm telling you, like that, nothing could. I used to call him the Rock because he would he just couldn't be swayed, or nothing would worry him at all. And it was crazy. Like I was the guy that was going all out, but I would worry more than he would. He didn't care. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. We bought a house in California, and after we closed, we found out there was a squatter in there. And we couldn't sell it because all the cash buyers we were sending by were like, I'm not buying this house with a squatter. And I had actually bought the house with my own money. So I had out, it wasn't that expensive. It was like a $90,000 house. It was pretty crappy. But I had $90,000 that was just sitting there because I couldn't get it back because of the squatter. So I was like, dude, I have my money out there. Like, what are we going to do? He's like, bro, it's all good. Don't even worry about it. That was like his response. And he's like, we'll figure it out. That was always what he's like, we'll figure it out. And I'm not okay with that response ever of like, we'll figure it out. I'm figuring it out right now. I said, no, dude, I'm figuring it out right now. So what I said to him, I said, bro, we're getting on a plane today, it was at the end of the day when we found this. I said, we're getting on a plane tomorrow and we're going to fly to California and kick this squatter out, me and you. He's like, all right. So we got on a plane the next day and we got the squatter out. Police got involved. It was crazy. But yeah, he was not scared at all about anything.
So right now, if your ratio of deals, how many are wholesales? What percentage is flips? What does that ratio look like for you and your portfolio?
Right now it's 100% wholesale. After I got rocked by flipping, I'm like, I ain't flipping for a long time unless this thing
just a little bit. Pump the brake just a little bit. Okay.
No.
So
go ahead. I see.
This is the question that we ask all of our guests, and this is going to just before you answer, take a second. All right. So, what do you feel like have been your number one obstacle thus far in your entire life? Not real estate related, not real estate, but just overall. What have Nathan had to overcome to reach success?
Oh, this is easy for me. It's time, knowing how to use my time. Like I told you guys, ADHD, trying to do 10 things at once because I thought it was a superpower. I thought it was good to do multiple things. And now I've realized, bro, I got to do one thing. Like, for example, with content, I can do podcasts, I can do blah, 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 all this. You can only really do one really well. And it's the same thing with real estate. I've talked to too many people that are like, they've gone to developments, fix and flips, lease options, all this stuff. And then they're like, dude, if I could go back, I would have just done one thing. So for me, has been the time and the focus. That's it.
Absolutely. I think the focus is definitely probably the hardest thing because we are taught that, you should juggle things, you should balance a lot of things, but what are you really great at if you're good at 120 things? Like, what are you really great at?
Yes, man. I think that's so powerful to know that you can be diagnosed or you can grow up with ADHD and still be successful.
Yeah,
I think that's powerful, Nathan. Like, and I think you need to tell that more often because there's people that's going to watch this and they're going to have, if it's not ADHD, it's some form of a deficiency or a challenge. And to know that they can look at you and say, wow, I can overcome this. I can still be successful. I don't have to be stuck in my challenge. I can overcome it.
And let me say, absolutely, Tanya, Nathan, I don't know how you're able to focus like you focus.
I don't know
because
either.
I don't think I know any ADHD person that can focus and go as hard as you go. Like, I see you, and when I see you go, you go. That's not ADHD for me.
Yeah.
You get checked out.
I'll tell you guys how I've been. It's what I've learned is like the mind. It's like a muscle, right? And unfortunately, like because of the way I grew up in my mind, or whatever you want to call it, disability that developed, it was harder for me to focus and exercise that muscle of concentration. But it is something you can improve, just like you can improve your muscle and your strength, your squat. It's the same thing with your mind. Like, so when I started jujitsu 2 years ago, I sucked, right? 2 years later, practicing, I'm better, right? I'm going to tournaments, I'm winning, right? It's the same thing with the mind. Like I just read a book over here. It's called Free to Focus. A lot of people they're teaching that. Well, the book talks about how people are developing that don't have ADHD. They're developing it like because with phones and notifications and lights and all these things, distractions, ads. There's companies that are trying to get everyone's attention because attention is the new currency. It's not gold. It's not like silver and all this stuff from back in the day. It's what we focus on. So we're fighting against big corporations and people that make money off of distracting us. And if you can understand that, like, you just need to focus and like you can develop that skill set, it'll get stronger. So just to answer how I got better at it is I'm very deliberate and intentional about how I use my time now. I'm time blocking. When I first started reading, I could read for 5 or 10 minutes without being like, I gotta go do something else. Now I can read for hours because I sit down daily and I say, okay, let's get everything out of the way. Let's focus. So that's the problem. The problem is people don't understand that it's something that they can build over time. And I didn't know that either as a kid. I just got distracted and that's just how it was. But you can all build your attention.
Let's go. That was exciting. Focus. Is there any particular music that helps you focus?
Is there any? Sorry,
is it any particular music that helps you focus? Like, what sets the focus?
Let me grab this really quick.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to focus better, this is the book I just read. I read it in like 3 days, or a couple days, and I took like a ton of notes on it. It's very good because it talks about music, talks about how to structure your days. Like let me show. Let me. Okay.
Show it to us.
Let me show you my calendar. I know you guys might think this is crazy, but like I time block. Like right now, we're right here on this call. I know right after the hour, sorry, I'm gonna have lunch and I'm gonna take an hour for lunch. And then I have an hour for, that next thing I'm doing. And then I'm gonna end my day. And then I'm gonna have dinner with my wife. And then it's rejuvenation time and it's family time. So I know exactly what I'm going to do because I've structured it, and I'm not going to let things that aren't important get in my way because time is important. That's all we have.
Absolutely.
That's impressive, Nathan. That's impressive.
Can I time block you like I used to?
Hell no.
It's all from the book, guys. I didn't make it up. The time blocking I got from the book. And I interviewed this guy on my podcast that he was like, hey, Nate, would you rather, switch places with Warren Buffett? That's the richest guy, would you switch places with him right now? He's the richest dude in the world, but he's 82. Or would you rather stay with your life? You're 32. You're not rich like him. Like, what would you rather have? And I'm like, I'm cool with where I'm at because I have time. I don't think anyone would trade places, Warren, if you had to be 82 and you could die the next day. Who cares about that money? Those guys all want something that we have that they don't, and that's more time. So, yeah, just think of that, everybody. Like, time is really what's important, not money.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I'm
man.
time blocking you.
Don't time block me.
Listen, time blocking
I want to thank you for coming on here and giving us some nuggets, giving us a great book to read, giving us some motivation that we can do anything we put our mind to.
Yes.
For the people that are watching that wants to reach out to Nathan, that want to get in contact with Nathan, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Ooh, great question. You can DM me on Facebook, Nathan Payne. You can hit me up. I also, if you go to painlessflipping.com, Payne, like my last name, Painless Flipping, You can enter into my newsletter where I send you free resources. I'm always doing something new, like where I'm giving out what I can to help you guys succeed if you want to get into wholesaling. So anyway, those are the two ways. Just DM me or just subscribe to the newsletter and we'll get in touch somehow.
Let's go.
Okay.
First of all, that website that was like genius. Painless. That was
Oh yeah,
genius.
you like that? Painless flipping?
Genius.
Well, how did you come up with the name?
You know what? My company is actually like the total company's called Investor Thrive, and that's like where I started at. But then I was like, look, painless it just sounds better, So anyway, okay. Let me actually give you really where it came from. When I was doing a lot of stuff like in the beginning, I was all over the place. Junk removal, when we were flipping houses, I was like, man, why don't I just start a junk removal company and call it Painless Junk Removal? And I was like, it's really painless because we'll take away all your junk. You don't have to do anything. So that's where the name Painless came from, because I was like, junk removal. And then remember, guys, I focused. So I got rid of that. And now I'm like, well, the Painless was a good name. Why don't we just add it to flipping? So that's how the name really got started.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely.
Man. Keep going. Keep chopping. Keep doing amazing things, Nathan.
Yes,
I want to make sure that we share this. Make sure you share this with your community because it's going to help them also.
Yeah.
Let's connect in the future.
Yes. Thank you, Nathan.
Any questions before we go for that? So I see one question. I don't know if it's a Nathan question, but we can definitely ask and see what his response is.
Can you have a former partner removed from your LLC?
That's a good question. So I would just recommend starting a new LLC. That's kind of like what I did. My tax guy, like I had my company set up as a partnership and we filed taxes. And then I was like, hey, this isn't a partnership anymore. I own it. And he was like, well, we'll file it as a sole proprietorship. So he just like was struggling to like know what to do as well, my tax guy. So I think if you can avoid it, just start a new LLC.
Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Get the book back. Yolanda said, what's the name of that book again?
Free to Focus. Guys, I love reading. Let me give you one more tip before I go. Reading. We know Tom Kroll. When I joined, Coaching Inc. and started learning more about like how to be a better entrepreneur coach, I didn't read at all. I was like, forget reading. I don't want to waste my time. I'd rather watch a movie. And now he's like, read. So guys, I've been reading like crazy and it's helped me out a ton. Like there's a reason why most entrepreneurs and successful people read. It's because you like download everything. Like you never forget anything that you learn. It's just back in your subconscious, right? So you can bring it back. So the more you read, oh my gosh, it's just like you're becoming a freaking supercomputer and things can come back and help you. So read, everybody.
Read. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I got another question. What's the best way you all are analyzing deals, or what tools are you using? Ooh.
So I love that question because at painlessflipping.com for entering my newsletter, I actually give you all my painless flipping offer calculator, which actually determines what you should offer on a wholesale deal, what you should offer on a fix and flip, a burr. It does everything, creative, novation. I use this is what I've been using to do millions of dollars in wholesale fees. That's how I analyze all my deals. So if you want that tool, go get it for free. I give it away. I used to charge for it, but I was like, you know what? Everybody gets it for free. So go ahead.
Let's go.
Great question. Yeah. All right. Any more questions before we get out of here? Because y'all had some good ones. So we want to make sure we take advantage of Nathan's time. Okay. Yes.
Great.
Okay. Let's go. If you need that calculator, go check out the website. If you want to get with Nathan to learn how to wholesale or get some nuggets, or just talk to him about potentially wholesaling and what it looks like, reach out to him. He is a go-giver. He's going to help you. He's going to provide you with as much information and access as he can so that you can start your journey.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. That's nice. That's a good endorsement. I appreciate it.
No problem.
You're
so,
welcome.
Man, we'll see y'all. What we got coming up, Ashley?
Too much.
Yeah.
REI Live is April 16th. We'll be at REI Live at Vulcan. Next Tuesday, we have a training. Yeah.
That's it.
That's
Okay.
it.
All right. Well, make sure y'all go join our REI Decoded Facebook group if you haven't already, so you can watch this replay, and you can also watch some other training and some other podcasts that we did. So see y'all in the future, man. Thank you again, Nathan.
Thank you, Nathan. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Peace.